Hey everybody, it's Steph Davis here, bringing you part 5 of Must Know Investing's Best and Brightest Women in Real Estate Investing. Patrick asked me to put together a quick video for you guys to talk a little bit about how I got started in real estate and my first deal, and then give you some advice for those of you out there who are struggling to get your first deal or just getting into the real estate investing or wholesaling business. So a little about me. I first got interested in real estate. I saw the Carlton Sheets infomercial on TV late at night. I think it's been 5 or 6 years ago now. So I got the course. As soon as I got it, tore the wrapper off of it, and I read through the course in that day, the same day that I got it, and I just knew that this is what I want to do. I want to make money in real estate. So fast forward 2 years later, and I was still learning about real estate, going to seminars, buying courses, spending hours and hours and hours online, reading forums and all that kind of stuff. So I finally got to the point where, you know, because I told all my friends and family that I'm going to be making money with real estate investing, and it got to the point for me where I was just totally embarrassed that I hadn't done anything yet, and I just kind of gave myself an ultimatum and said, look, you need to make something happen here. You need to do a deal because this is just downright embarrassing. So my first ever deal was a subject to deal. Subject to is when you take over someone's, you have someone deed their property to you and the loan stays in their name. So I found this particular deal through a postcard mailer that I did. The seller the seller lived in the house with her husband, and her mom, the seller's mom, got sick and she moved in with them, and then she passed away in the house, and the seller just was very emotional about it. She just wanted to get rid of the house and get rid of the memories. So I ended up taking over their loan. I can't remember the exact numbers. I think it was $160,000 was the loan balance, and it was probably worth close to $200,000, something like that. I put a tenant buyer. My exit strategy was to find a tenant buyer and put them in there on a lease option, and then have them purchase the property from me, you know, a year down the road once they cleaned up their credit and got a loan. So I put them in there. Initially, I was making $280 a month positive cash flow, which was great. The tenants gave me a $5,000 non-refundable deposit, and everything was good. The end of the first year came, and they were not able to get financing, so they weren't able to cash me out. So we signed another, we renewed the lease and option for another year. And then towards the end of the second year, everything was going along fine, and they were, you know, getting ready to get the loan and cash me out. And they ended up taking off for Alaska in the middle of the night. This is a true story. They left a note, actually, and they just took off. They didn't pay their rent. So I got the house back. It was completely trashed, just absolutely disgusting trash. So I had to do a rehab on the house, which was a nightmare. I had absolutely no clue what I was doing. And then ended up selling it, I think it was like 4 months later. I did make $50,000 on it. And keep in mind at the time, I had had the property for 2 years, and it was during, I think it was 2004, 2005, when the market was just going absolutely nuts. So I ended up making $50 grand on it. If I had actually known what I was doing with the rehab, I could have made probably double that. I ended up just dumping the property to another investor because it was just, I was sick of the rehab. I just wanted to get rid of the house. I did a horrible job, like I said, and anyway, ended up selling it and making a nice chunk of cash there. But I realized after that rehabbing and being a landlord was not for me, so I started doing wholesaling after that. My advice to you guys if you're just getting started is, number one, if you're just getting started and you're like I was, didn't have a lot of money, I had bad credit at the time, didn't have a lot of cash reserves, I should say, having a rental property is not a good idea. This is my dog Jim here, by the way. Having a rental property is not a good idea if you do not have a lot of cash reserves in your bank account, because if the tenants miss one payment, you know, one mortgage payment, then kind of puts you in a tough position. It's very stressful. So, you know, that would be one piece of advice for you. The second piece of advice would be pick one strategy when you're getting started, whether it's going to be short sales or wholesaling or whatever you decide to do, and then just stick with it. Don't do like what I did and spend 2 years bouncing around from webinar or seminar to course to, changing my mind. One day I wanted to do lease options, one day I wanted to do rehabs, etc. Just pick one and stick with it, focus in on it like a laser, and become an expert at it. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I do have a, down below, you can download, I have a report there with some ways for you to find buyers for your wholesale deals. If you could just click on that below and download that. And hope you guys enjoyed the video. And stay tuned. Next week, Patrick has a special surprise guest for you guys next week. So tune in then to find out who the special guest is. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good day. Bye.